Hi everybody, welcome to Todd's Test Kitchen. I'm a cook. I cook for my family and friends. Today, as always, I want to cook something a little different. I have a Boston butt. Actually, it's true, because I'm from Boston and I have a butt. But we're talking about a pork shoulder. We're talking about a picnic roast. We're talking about a Boston butt. It's all the same thing. And I am so tempted. There's every strand in my soul that wants to make a carnita out of this, but I'm not going to. I saw a new recipe that I give it a try. Pork and apple. I grew up having pork chops and applesauce on the same plate. Did you do this? Maybe it's just me. And I thought, it's fall, the leaves are changing here in Utah. Why not try it? So that's what we're gonna do today. Now, it all starts off with my butt. This is what you're going to need. You need pepper, salt, apples that don't break down when they're cooked. We've got Dijon mustard. We've got some vegetable broth. We've got scallions. We've got bacon. We've got cider. We've got butter. One thing I want you to remember today is that I am making 2 of these. Now, some of the quantities you see me putting in are going to be twice the amount, because last time I made what did I make? A beef shank, right? I got like this much of it. The next day I got there and I thought, leftovers. There were no leftovers. There were round bones, and that was it. So I'm making 2 of them. So one's going to have to go on top of the stove. One's going to go in the oven. We're going to cook at 325. What I've always decided to do, what I always do, is I braise, and I always braise in a Dutch oven. Now the reason I do this is because the heat is all the way around it, because it all conducts the heat. And the other one is going to go into. So I am doing 2 of these, all right? So, and if you want a recipe on this, if you go online and say pork and apple, hundreds of them show up, some with cinnamon, others with, anyway. The point being is I kind of generalize about how much I'm putting in and kind of, so I don't have a specific recipe. But first thing we want to do, you see what I did there? Is we want to cut this into 6 pieces, because we're going to brown it. We're going to brown it, which is going to be great. And why do you brown beef? I learned that I don't know everything. I don't know a lot. Depends on who you ask. Bread is good. Toast is better. That's why we brown the meat. But first of all, we have to cook the bacon. Kind of sexy, isn't it? All right, so this would be about 4 ounces. Remember, I'm making 2 of these. Oh, wait. Even sexier. All right, this is the part where you destroy your kitchen. Basically, like we said, you're going to take the meat and you're going to put it into the bacon fat along with 1 tablespoon of butter, and you're going to go ahead and brown every side of it. Every side of it. Like I said, bread's nice. Toasted bread is better, more flavor, and there's smoke. And you can't do it all at once, so you're going to brown, and put it in the next batch goes in. And so that goes on until everything is browned off, and then you put it aside. All right, so I have now put the meat back in the pot, 1 layer. Leave some space in between them so they don't poach. And then in 1 hour, we're going to flip them over and add the bacon back. All right, 2 hours is up. Let's go check and see what we have. Oh, I think that'll work, don't you? The only thing left is the apples and a tiny bit of mustard. Let's get to the apples. You know, there's always a time like this that you kind of wish that you had your mom or your grandma around, right? Because there was always someone, it might have been an aunt or something like that, but there was always a person in your crew who could peel an apple. And they would peel it like they would never take any of the flesh of the apple and they'd feed it to us as they did it for pies and all that stuff. But doing this always makes me think of them. And they had those old-fashioned retro aprons on, which aren't retro when they were wearing them, I guess. But there is always something about peeling an apple that just makes me think about them. All right, I've got 6 more to do. Now that you've destroyed your entire kitchen and your stove is covered with oil, it is now time for the next step. And the next step is, my friends, is to add the shallots. By the way, cutting these is like worse than onions. So we're going to put these in now, put them in now. We've lowered the heat. We're going to soften those. Next thing we're going to add is the apple cider. The apple cider, after those soften up, we got 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar as well. And this will go in as soon as the shallots are softened. All right, 2 hours is up. Let's go check and see what we have. Oh, I think that'll work, don't you? The only thing left is the apples and a tiny bit of mustard. Let's get to the apples. All right, so here we go. We're going to take out the pieces and put them in a deep kind of dish because there's other stuff that's going to go in here. All right, and we're going to get the other pieces out. There we go. Now I'm going to put the rest of it in and skim afterwards. So I'm going to take the rest of the bacon that we cooked early. That's going to go in. Also going into the pot, and you kind of think that someone made this up, but we're going to do a little Dijon mustard, just a little bit like that, and then the apples. Now remember, I'm making 2 batches, so I'm only going to put half in, and that's probably too many, but I'm really excited about the whole apple thing, so we're going to let that go. And we're going to turn the heat back up on this, and we're going to let it cook down for a little bit. All right, just remember, it's all an experiment. There it is, mashed potatoes, little chive on top. There are the apples, and there is the apple pork. All right, well, go ahead and try this out on your own. It's always an adventure, and I'll see you next time in Todd's Test Kitchen. Can I eat it now? Yes.